Are live. This is fantastic. I've got two streams going. If if you've got any questions while I am up here on the live, just put them in chat. I've got a YouTube here and I've got Facebook here. So hi there. I'm Michael Hausen. Welcome to Fix My Realtor Live. The real estate industry is not your friend. So if you're thinking about buying or selling a home in the next year, you've got a big problem to confront. And it is likely something that you are totally unaware of. The real estate industry is not your friend. So I'm going to explain what this really means and show you what to do about it. And it's because of the way that the entire real estate industry is set up. And it's been this way for decades, frankly. It is completely broken. And it's due to the incentives and the industry focus of the real estate business itself. So what I'm going to do here for a little bit is I'm going to peel back the curtain and explain what's really going on behind the scenes. So just don't tell my brokerage what I'm saying here, because I might end up having to look for a new one and they're not going to be happy. So the focus of real estate companies is not to deliver expert level results for home buyers and home sellers like you. It is not to help you take control of your own real estate journey and to make sure that you recognize the landmines and the opportunities that are out there. And it is certainly not to make sure that you are fully equipped to ensure that the table, with all the money sitting out there on it, tilts towards you and that those dollars slide towards you. The focus of the real estate companies is to capture business, your signature on the contract, and then get to the commission, and hopefully get to that commission as soon as possible. Period. That's it. That is the goal. And it's the goal of 99% of real estate agents out there as well. In fact, it's not just their goal, it's their obsession. And obviously that is a big problem for you. Now, the real estate industry has been in the news a lot over the last couple of years. Multi-billion-dollar commission lawsuits, and all of the industry players have all settled. Otherwise, they were going to lose those lawsuits. So billions of dollars were paid out. And then huge, big mergers. My massive and 110-year-old company was bought out earlier this year by Compass. 25% of active real estate agents across the country are now working for brokerages that are owned by Compass. That's Century 21, Coldwell Banker, Sotheby's International, Corcoran, ERA, Better Homes and Gardens. Almost 350 agents across the country, $1.6 billion they paid. And then they paid almost $500 million for Christie's International the year before. And just last week, Real Brokerage bought Remax, $880 million for that. And then you add in the billions of dollars of advertising. And none of it is really about maximizing money savings on a purchase or maximizing the sale price for you. They're not showing you who has the best framework and the best strategies and the best tactics for doing it. It's all about who gets the most contracts signed and the most commission dollars. And this just goes all the way down. If you were to take a look on my computer right now at my inbox, real estate trainers, brokerages trying to recruit me, it's all about prospecting and client acquisition. With my real estate coaching clients, when I start working with them, the number one question dominates their thinking every day, all day long is, how do I get more leads? It's the only thing that they're asking about. It's not, how can I get better at helping my clients avoid landmines and costly mistakes? That never comes up. For the entire industry, everything is only about getting your signature on a contract and then your commission. If you look at the training and education calendar for my own brokerage, lead generation, lead generation, lead generation. Now, sometimes they will call it finding clients, but that's lead generation. all the way down, right? If you go to the agent portal for the California Association of Realtors or any state real estate association across the country and the National Association of Realtors, down in the small corner, there's going to be workshops announced, legal or contract issue education. But above the fold topics for the big events coming up, all about generating more business. And this obsession, and that's the correct word, obsession, it's not about getting you optimal results and making sure that you're using the strategies and tactics to maximize your financial gain. It's just about getting you, and it ends there. Fundamental idea behind all of the marketing and training and everything else in my business can be boiled down to one statement. It's not the best realtor that gets hired. It's the best known realtor that gets hired. This phrase has been posted probably 11 trillion times today on one platform or another, agents encouraging one another. It's considered the fundamental genius idea for real estate marketing. And they're basically admitting it. It's not being the best agent that's important. It's being the one that's the most well-known. Well, hi there. I'm the neighborhood specialist. Everybody knows me. Okay, great. It's why all of the social media and marketing for agents, it's about them and it's not about you and your real estate journey. You're never going to hear, look, I have a system and multiple strategies that can save you $40,000 or $100,000 whenever you buy or sell a home. That's not what you're going to see. It's, look, I do a funny dance in a kitchen, or hey, look at my new killer car that I bought. Would you hire me? That's all of it, right? And when you watch those real estate shows on Bravo and all the other places that everybody watches, right? I watch them. The agent's looking like the cover of a magazine. And then right after that, what's the number that goes up on the screen? Does it say total dollars saved by buyer client or total extra dollars made by the seller client? Of course it doesn't. What it says is total potential commission. That's it. And then the biggest real estate coaching event in the country, it's a guy by the name of Tom Ferry, right? You may not have heard of him, but I guarantee you every single real estate agent in the nation knows who he is. They probably all got an email from him today. I know right here on my computer, I certainly did. He's the most influential and most popular real estate trainer in America. Millions of dollars a month into that business in coaching and training revenue from realtors. And every summer, he has a big success summit. Thousands and thousands of agents show up, and it's literally the event of the year. And I printed out the marketing thing for him this year, right? So Tom Ferry's Summit 2026 passes. Summer pricing goes into effect on July 6th. General admission, $999. VIP, $1,999. Price is increasing in July, right? $1,000 or $2,000 to get into the thing. And then let's go through this real quick. This is the above the fold announcement, Tom Ferry. Stay ahead of the market. 3 days that transform your business. Marketing. New campaigns for generating listing leads in today's market. AI strategies. 10x your productivity in half the time. Business systems. Build repeatable systems that generate income. Fall in love with your business again. Scripts and negotiations. Close more deals with scripts that actually work. Then there's this big long paragraph here. Powerful reset to stay ahead of the shifts and win more market share. So all of those here. Anything about helping buyers get the lowest possible price for a house? Or anything about getting absolute top dollar for their listings and their sellers? No, not going to be mentioned all weekend long. All about better ways to get your signature on a contract and increase their commission rate. And this here is why there's a general disconnect between the general public and real estate agents, right? Let's be honest. That's why there's kind of an ick feeling about real estate agents, when you see those surveys about the least respected professions in the country, real estate agents are always on those lists. Nobody trusts them. And sometimes that's rightly so. Realtors, lawyers, used car salesmen, they're kind of all the same animal, right? They get paid when you buy or sell, and there's always that pressure that's built in because they want you to buy or sell now because they want to get paid now. Now, here's something else about realtors that you may not know. Realtors know this, but you may not. 70% of agents across the country sell 5 or fewer houses a year. That's less than one house every other month. It's basically part-timing it. You would never hire a part-time lawyer to represent you in a court case or a part-time doctor to perform a surgery on you because the risk is too big, right? There's too much on the line to do that. Yet a majority of people hire realtors that are just like this because they don't know any better, right? Maybe they know the agent or they're related to them, or wow, they've got all these big, massive sales numbers. They've got to be great at what they do. That's what most people think. So to my point here, and this is what I really want you to get, regardless of the realtor you hire, or especially if you're going to try to go it alone, you need to control your own journey, and you need to know exactly what needs to be done every step along the way to buy or sell a house like a pro. Now, I'm not saying here that you shouldn't hire a realtor. Definitely not. I'm a realtor. I do it every single day in Orange County. There are good ones. And part of my system, frankly, at Fix My Realtor is to help people find a realtor if they want. But the point is that you should know how to operate at a pro level and what that looks like, and be prepared to control your own real estate journey before you hire a realtor or before you even think about buying or selling a house. Because ultimately, you need to be the one driving the car, knowing how you're going to get to your destination so that you can make sure that it's all being done right, right? Real estate, it's not like the shoulder surgery that I had. If the doctor got the shoulder surgery wrong, afterwards, if I lifted my arm up, it would still hurt. And so I would know. If my brakes are squeaking and I take it into the mechanic, but then they're still squeaking, I'll know that he didn't fix it, right? On a real estate deal, unless you know and control what's happening, the mistakes and missed opportunities, those are landmines that just explode underneath you. You're not going to know it. And then that money is gone forever. You're not going to get an email after the fact that says, you know what, we would have paid you more. Or the agent's not going to call up and say, we would have taken less for the house. That's never going to happen. Let me give you 2 recent examples that really clarify the importance of you taking control of your own real estate journey so that you can buy a house or sell a house like a pro. So it was about a month ago. Some clients saw a house, and let me read you these listing details because it's just perfect. All right, this is in Costa Mesa. This is a MLS printout here, okay? Exceptionally upgraded. I'm just going to read the highlights. Exceptionally upgraded, boasting beautiful curb appeal, beautifully remodeled kitchen, an inviting living room, upgraded with new vanities, fixtures, lighting, tile, glass enclosures, defined beautiful outdoor entertaining space, an incredible opportunity to own a turnkey home. Okay, that's what we were expecting. But when we got there, it was a complete mess. It was disgusting, disgusting adjacent, right? The furniture was totally different that was in the pictures. The upgrades, they were at least 15 years old. They were very tired. There was crap everywhere, right? Also, it was an active substance abuse recovery home. It was a business going on, right? Now, of course, those are super important given the world that we live in, but a little heads up would have been nice. Hey guys, by the way, this is an active business location that you're going to be going into. It's being used as a recovery home. That would have been a nice heads up, right? But this place was such a dump. and the vibe was so bad. There was still a dude that was there when we got there. The clients were totally freaked out by the whole thing. I actually pulled up on my phone and the printout to make sure that I was in the right house. Now, the sellers have already done $100,000 price cut, but even still, there's no way this house is going to sell for anywhere near the 1.3 million that they are asking, which is actually now perfectly on par for the neighborhood, right? But, and here's the essential point why you've got to take control of your own journey. The listing agent on that house, top 10 agent in Orange County by total sales volume. There are only a few agents in Orange County that sell more houses. Just looked it up. She sold almost 50 houses year to date. It's incredible. But think about the seller of this house. There's no way they have any idea what a disaster their listing is, right? They hired one of the top agents in the entire county, but it's probably going to cost 15 to 20% of the value of his home because of the way they're positioning it and the way they're bringing it to market. He's trusted his home sale to a top expert, and it's probably going to cost them $150,000 or $250,000. My clients couldn't wait to get out of the house, but he's off somewhere, confident that he hired an expert and has absolutely no idea of the money that's just hemorrhaging out all over the marketplace. Story goes on. Last week, I showed different clients in a different city a listing by the exact same agent. And I have that printout here, right? Similar kind of descriptions. Now, the house wasn't as disgusting and scary, but again, the description of the house and the expectation that we had was totally different than what we saw in real life in person when we got there, right? We laughed all the way through it. Turnkey wasn't. The high-end luxury upgrades were not. This agent set a Nordstrom level expectation, and we kind of experienced something between Walmart and a garage sale. And that is going to cost this seller money. It's another seller hired a top producing successful agent having no idea that they're losing tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars. On the other hand, if either one of these sellers had just a small taste of what I'm doing with Fix My Realtor to help equip buyers and sellers to know what buying and selling like a pro would look like, it would be a completely different world for them. Now they've delegated control of the real estate journey to a professional, and they're getting wrecked. Now I have a second story on the buyer side. Right? So last fall, I met this wonderful couple at an open house. They were young, they were so cute, excited about buying their first house. I totally loved them, and I would love to have helped them. But as we were talking, they sheepishly told me that the wife's mom had her license and used to do a lot of real estate. Okay? I've heard that. I hear that all the time. So we joked for a quick second about how awkward Thanksgivings and Christmases would be for the rest of their lives if they fired the mom and hired me. And so they left. But then the mom called me. She actually joked herself about her kids almost firing her and hiring me. And then she started asking me questions about the marketplace, about the approach to various strategies and tactics and how to prepare to write an offer. She was literally asking for a coaching session on how to help her clients, her kids, to go about the right way to buy a home and get the lowest possible price from a seller. And then over the next week or so, she called me a couple of more times, including one after they didn't get a house that they wanted. So I looked her up. She had years of history with a lot of sales, but she hadn't sold a house in almost a decade. And this was the agent that was helping them. And frankly, it broke my heart, because they had no idea what they should be doing themselves, no clue on how to buy a house like a pro. They put their hope into somebody that they obviously trusted, their mom, right? Makes sense. But it was also somebody that had no idea what they were doing. Given the price range that they were looking at, some seller here in Orange County is going to end up with 75 grand more than they should have, 75 grand of their dollars. Because these two sweet people were not in control of their real estate journey. They were barely operating at an amateur level, even though they had hired a pro. And this is the most important part. They had no idea that it was happening, and it was brutal. The sellers had no idea it was happening, had no idea of the fortune it was going to cost them. Now, this agent, top producer, 2 more sales to the resume, onto the marketing flyers, they don't care. These sweet buyers, they're going to end up getting a house. They won't know how much money they ended up overpaying because they were working with effectively an amateur. Now, the mom will be happy that she helped them, happy that she helped them buy the house, of course, but she's not going to have any idea that her lack of skill and knowledge harmed them. But actually, the news is even worse. These 3 little episodes are just the tip of the iceberg. And I need you to pay attention to what I'm saying here. These are not unique circumstances. They're happening every day, all day long, in every state, county, and city in the country. It's basically good people getting screwed by a broken industry, and it's costing them all a fortune. And I see it week after week. So let me explain to you why understanding this fact about the broken real estate industry is such a big deal, right? It's not just a story, right? And this is why you need to figure out how you're going to handle this problem. And this is why. Knowing what to do about it, this all needs to start right at the beginning of your real estate journey. Whether you're thinking of buying or selling, you need to figure this out right now. Whether or not you have a realtor, whether or not you're going to hire one, you need to figure it out now. Because the amount of money that's involved here, it's probably going to be the largest financial transaction of your life to this point, right? And frankly, that should be terrifying to you. If it's not, it should be. If I were in your shoes today, thinking of buying or selling a house right now, and I didn't know what I know, it'd be terrifying to me. Average house across the country sells for about 435 grand. And on any home in that price range, there can be a swing of about 10% in price range. Okay. Look up any home on Zillow, and it gives you the Zillow estimate. Everybody's done that before. But if you scroll all the way down on Zillow, there's a little range at the bottom, and it usually ends up being around 10%. Excuse me. So $40,000 that's on the table for an average home, right? That's $40,000 that could be yours, or it could be the person that's across the table from you. Right now, if your market is more expensive, then it's more money that we're talking about. If your market's like mine here in Orange County, almost triple the average sales price across the country, then we're talking about a swing of over 100 grand. Do the math in your head right now for your target price range for the house you're looking for or the house you're wanting to sell. Do the math, 10% of that. That number should get your attention, because it's the potential amount of money that's on the table that you stand to lose or gain, whether you're buying or selling. It's either yours or it goes to the other side of the table, gone forever. That's your money that we're talking about. The dollars would disappear if you make mistakes that you shouldn't have. Or those are dollars that stay with you or go into your pocket if you do everything right. If home prices don't terrify you, then this thought here, that amount of money in the swing should terrify you. Because what would you do with 40 grand or 100 grand or whatever your number is if you didn't have to give that to a seller in a higher price? Or if you got that much more money out of the sale of your home? What would you do with that money? Retirement accounts or savings, vacation, health expenses, upgrades to a house, whatever it would be for you. I think we can agree that it's better that you keep it than lose it. So everything that you do from here on out, wherever your real estate journey involves, keep that number in mind, whether it's the $40,000 average number or the 100 grand or whatever the number is that you just came up with in your head. That's what you stand to gain or lose. In this 40 or 100 grand, as I clearly laid out at the beginning, it's really not something the real estate companies really care about, nor do most of the agents. But if you care about it, I can't believe you wouldn't, then you have to be the one responsible for the solutions to make sure that you get it or to make sure that you don't lose it. You need to be in control, and you need to be able to know what should and shouldn't be happening during every single step of your real estate journey. Now, so what do you do? What's the solution? Sorry. Let me see. There was a comment here. Let me look at this real fast. Oh, I don't know where the comments are. Sorry about that. All right. So what do you do? Historically, there have been two ways to go about buying or selling a home, right? And that's the way everybody, including you right now, have always thought about it. One of two ways. Number one, you hire a realtor, hope they'll properly guide you and execute for you. Now, this is most people. Or two, you do it yourself and you just hope that you're going to execute for yourself good enough to make up for the real estate agent. And people do it on their own. Either they're disgusted by agents in general or trying to save some money on commission, right? Fewer people do it that way. The problem is that neither one of these approaches actually solves the real problem, the broken system. So this is why I've created something totally new and different, and it's a third option. It's called Fix My Realtor, and it works for whether you're working with a realtor, going to be hiring one at some point in the future, or if you want to go it alone without one. And the mission here, it's not to be anybody's agent, not to do anything with that, right? But it's to help you independently on your team without the pressure and without the distortion of needing a commission or a representation agreement, to equip you so that you will know exactly how to control your own journey and recognize and avoid costs and mistakes and see and seize opportunities when they arise. In other words, to equip and enable you to know exactly what it takes to tip that table towards you so that $40,000 that's out in the middle of it, or the $100,000 or whatever it is, that slides towards you. So let me tell you quickly about how I discovered this. Years ago, one of my very best friends, he hired me to be his realtor, to sell his house up in Los Angeles, which we did for a record amount. Then they moved out of state and began to hunt for a new home. But he called me upset and frustrated because he didn't really know how to go about buying a house with any level of expertise other than just looking at houses to find the one that he really liked. And he was really disappointed with all the realtors that he'd met. He kind of felt that they were amateurs and basically just Uber drivers with the lockbox key. So he calls me and he was kind of pissed off. And he goes, dude, you just showed me all these strategies and tactics that we did to get top dollar for my house, and we killed it. But no agent here has even hinted at anything like this to help me to buy a house or save money or anything like that. Not a word. So what he did is he asked me if I could help him to show him exactly what the strategies and tactics to use so that he could get the best possible price. So that's what we did. Firstly, I helped him understand all the various different things necessary to buy a house like a pro. And then throughout the process of looking for homes and buying one, I walked through the entire journey with him. I was his private guide and his mentor, right? I was like his little Sherpa sitting on his shoulder, helping him make decisions and execute all the way along the way, okay? What happened then was exactly what we intended, and it was so much fun. He ended up getting a house for far less than his agent originally told him was even remotely possible. Saved about $700,000 on an $800,000 house because he was playing a different game, and he was playing it in a totally different way with what ended up being this new third way, Fix My Realtor. He put into practice the exact things I helped him understand, things that he didn't have any idea about previously, nor did any of the agents that he had talked to, including the one that he had hired. In fact, there were actually a few conflicts with the agent about certain aspects of what should be done. And I actually helped him through those conflicts with his agent too. I basically helped him drag the agent by the collar up from trying to play amateur level checkers up to kind of grandmaster chess level. Because ultimately, the real estate agent's the employee and has to do what they're told. And the fact that this agent wasn't aware of a better way didn't make any difference, right? Look, you're the agent, you work for me, and we're going to do this my way because it is better. So it was fantastic. Without it, he would not have been in control, and he would have put that extra 70 grand in the seller's pocket. And he would have had no idea that it happened. And of course, it wouldn't have actually mattered what realtor he hired. And that was the goal of what we wanted to do. I helped him take control and buy a house like a pro, and he totally crushed it. So this was how Fix My Realtor started. This is the third new way to help people get the result they want by controlling their own journey and fight this broken system. No longer will it just be you hoping you're being guided correctly and crossing your fingers that invisible landmines aren't showing up and sucking tens of thousands of dollars from you. It's you knowing exactly how to buy or sell a house like a pro and to instantly see when things aren't being done the way they should, and then to know exactly how to fix them, like with these. And if need be, even fix their realtor. So let me tell you another quick story here at the end that if you're a buyer, this should keep you up at night. So I had a buyer consult with folks and I was showing them my system. I was basically interviewing for the job to be their broker. Okay. And they were super resistant, skeptical about realtors. And of course, I don't blame them. And then they told me that they had been trying to buy houses by going directly to listing agents to get them to represent them too, right? Thinking that this would give them kind of an insider track and help them save some money. And if you're buying like a pro, it's not necessarily a bad idea. And that's what they were doing, right? So they'd been in escrow on a house, but the deal fell apart over a disagreement and a repair request about some plumbing problems. So as we're sitting there, we're in the portion of the consultation where I'm going through the various recipe ingredients in my system that are essential to buy like a pro. And then we get to the point where we're discussing the purchase contract itself. So I asked them to pull up the offer paperwork on that deal, right? Pull it up in their phone while we're sitting there. Now, this is something I do all the time when possible, right? Because I know that most of the time I'm immediately going to be able to identify amateur level moves that had been done and show them the landmines that they unknowingly stepped on. Sure enough, it happened here, but in this case, it was like catastrophic landmine, right? In the contract, page 3, in the section on cost allocations. And that's where you figure out who's supposed to pay for what. Right? Now, the listing agent who had filled it out, who was functioning as their agent, they had set it up that they were going to pay for all of the seller's transaction costs, all of them. And I showed them that, and they were immediately defensive. No. This guy was awesome. We totally trusted him. Apparently, he worked so hard to make sure that it was a good deal for us and a fair deal for everyone. He was the neighborhood guy. Everybody knows him, and we loved him. I'm looking at it. I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe so, but look here and look here and look here. Had that deal gone through, this would have cost them $14,000 or so. And they couldn't believe it. They had no idea. Once again, the only solution to things like this that would have otherwise been invisible is for you to have complete control over your real estate journey and for you to know what should be happening every single step of the way. Now, let me see here. there was a comment earlier. If there are any other questions? I don't know how to see this comment. All right, we'll have to get back to that. All right, so there are the questions. We'll get back to them in a second here. Now, so after this, there's basically two choices that you've got, okay? You can take this information that I've given you and try to figure all of this out and what your next steps are on your own. Frankly, most home buyers and home sellers don't have even this level of clarity that you have after listening to me here for just a few minutes. And a lot of these home buyers and sellers are going to end up being your competition. So this is good. Or you can go a step further and you can get more help from me. So I've got 3 levels of help to offer you. And you can find all 3 of them at fixmyrealtor.com. Now, the first option is for those that want a full-on shortcut right now and want my full help immediately. It's called the Advantage Program. And there's 3 parts to the Fix My Realtor Advantage Program: life coaching, mentoring, and advising with me throughout the remainder of your home buying or home selling journey. Secondly, there's a how-to lesson plan. So you get all of the details, the what, the why, the when, and the how from the very beginning all the way through the end, all of the strategies, all of the tactics, and the recipe ingredients to buy or sell like a pro. And then thirdly, a private community that I've set up, 24/7 access with other people that are going through the exact same process, going down the exact same path with you as you are. And I'm going to be actively involved in that community as well for instant feedback. Okay. So this isn't just, hey, buy my book and then good luck. It's not that at all. It's me setting up an education and a knowledge base to refer to as needed, like your Cliff's Notes guide, and then literally guiding and walking with you the entire way to make sure that you win. It's the ultimate shortcut to guarantee that you buy or sell like a pro. Secondly, if you'd prefer to more slowly wade in rather than get the full benefit, every week I do a free weekly workshop on Wednesday afternoons. The details of that are also at fixmyrealtor.com. And at the workshop, I explain what the key recipe ingredients are for a successful home purchase or home sale and why they're important. It's about an hour, and there's absolutely nothing like it because it doesn't have anything to do with a pitch to get you to hire me as your agent. It's not it at all. And then the third option at fixmyrealtor.com, there's a tool on the site that you can use to determine how ready you actually are to buy or sell a house. It's called the Real Estate Readiness Assessment. It's free, it takes like 4 minutes, but you'll immediately know what level of risk you're facing at your current level of awareness and knowledge about buying or selling a house. And you're going to instantly get a report card that shows you your strengths and your weaknesses in 4 different key areas, right? So all 3 of these options can easily be found at fixmyrealtor.com. There's a link in the description here on YouTube. There's a link in the description here on Facebook to go take a look at all 3 options. And if you've got any further questions for me about what I've said here or anything at fixmyrealtor.com, there's a link at fixmyrealtor.com where you can message me, or you can also DM me on Instagram at mphouse. Thank you so much for watching to Fix My Realtor Live. I'm going to quickly double check here to see if there are any other questions.